Hey guys, it's Carvin here. Just want to welcome you. Just kind of give you a little bit of what you're gonna hear today with Bram, Dianne, and myself. And we know life in this moment is pretty filled with so many different fears and anxiety and just stresses, and life can bring that. Obviously, we're in that now, but really what life is about is just about family. That's what it's about. And but not just that, but family being relaxed. What really comes out of the home, what comes out of family is just the way we approach life. And in this segment, you'll just hear us talking about the different approaches that we should all take to life, which is a real chilled, relaxed, and laid back approach. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy, and see you guys soon. All right, bye.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the lounge room. Here we are with
Hi.
Carvin and Bram. So come on in, join us. We've got no idea what we're going to talk about today, but there is something that I actually need to address with my son over here. He pranked me well and truly pretty good the other night, and I'm just discovering new things about you, Carvin.
Disgusting, full of surprises.
He is
Before that, the announcement, the epic announcement you did.
Oh,
It's the best. Like, it's the best.
the cup with no coffee.
Oh,
or drink in it.
So we're realizing more and more this man's a bit of an actor. He's got an acting gene in him somewhere.
Yeah.
Lot of drama. When you have a big family and everyone's loud, you gotta find a way to get attention.
Yeah. So this is where it's come from.
Oh yeah.
How many have you got in your family?
Immediate or
Well, I suppose
I got
it's been
six uncles,
6 uncles and
Yep.
3 aunts.
3 aunts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one uncle passed. That was 2005.
Mm.
So yeah, it was 6.
That was Uncle Ronald.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. And you're talking about like the greatest storyteller.
He
I
was.
couldn't imagine.
Oh
Really?
my gosh. One time we were at my grandparents' house, and it was after a big conference. So usually with conferences, especially in the church I grew up in, they would run pretty they would the evening service would be around 7, and it would get finished around 11:30. Then you kind of like hang out. And
Yeah.
so this particular service, though, I think was probably finished around 10, something like that. Anyway, we went and got something to eat, and then we went back to my grandparents' house
Mm.
because that's where he was staying at the moment. And so it was a few of us over, and he just began to tell different stories about, when they were growing up,
Yeah.
and this happening and that happening when they would be on the road singing, and I remember Juan was with me, my brother. I don't know if Joy was with us. She may have been. But anyway, it was a few of us. My aunts were around, because during the conference, like, we would all come back.
Yeah.
Everyone that lived in Nashville come back to Detroit.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that would have been so much fun.
it was great. It was always great. So yeah, he would just, he'd tell us these different stories about, when they were in church and when this happened. And he had a way to make the smallest things grand to the point that you just kill yourself laughing,
Oh,
So apparently, we were laughing so much and so loud. And we were there for so long, we lost complete track of time that my grandfather came out and he had his robe on and he said, "All right, that's it. That's it. You gotta go. Get out of here."
He kicked you out.
He kicked us out. I was like, "Well, it's Uncle Ronald. He's telling us I'm like, I don't care what's happening. You, Juan, Joy, everyone anyone that does not live
Because
in
you
here,
guys would have been loud.
get out. Oh, yeah. We were very loud.
Oh my gosh.
Because he came
I
out.
can hear Joy's laughter in my head right now.
He came out a couple times trying to warn us. You're too loud. We are asleep. You're too loud. I was like, all right, Granddad. It's like, okay. And, you know, Uncle Ron like, all right, Dad. All right, Dad. All right. Then he'll start whispering. So, anyway, like, and then the level would just go back up again.
The laughter would...
I think it was maybe 2 a.m.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And we didn't.
I would have kicked him out too.
Yeah. It was time to go. But it was great. Like, these stories were like perfect. I remember
Something you remember all your life.
I was just talking to Juan, I think, not even a week ago. No, just a few days ago.
Yeah.
And that part of, in the conversation that came up. And it was just like, oh man, he was the best. No one could tell a story like him.
Yeah.
No one could, It was amazing.
Isn't family amazing though?
Yeah. Isn't it great with families when you can break protocols and rules, like
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, family,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was. We would have these Thanksgiving reunions, and it because every time we got together it was awesome.
Mm.
But everyone was so far apart, and everyone's schedule was so demanding due to what they were doing and just life.
Yeah.
So when we did get together, it was either a wedding, which is awesome, but if it was a funeral and everyone knew the person just growing up in church and everyone would come back. Or like during that time, like church conferences, what we would call like a convocation. So most of the family would come. So I remember, it was when my Uncle Ronald passed that it was my grandma that actually said, you know what, I'm tired of us just getting together under circumstances like this.
Yeah.
Where we love to see each other, but it's always a sad moment.
Yeah.
It's never a moment out of us just coming together and being together. So it was then that, the family got together and just started talking about what we can do, and that's how our Thanksgiving reunions that we would do every other year.
Yeah, you do them every second year.
Yeah. So
that's
that
how we
started
met
in
you.
2005. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was actually on the off year.
Right.
Oh yes, it was actually,
That was
wasn't
on the off
it?
year. Because we would normally.
Because they normally all go to a particular city.
Yep. That was
And
warmer.
this time
the
just
climate
you came
would be
down
warmer.
to Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's winter time, so we would normally go to like Florida or North Carolina.
Yeah.
Warmer climate. So that's how those started. And I remember one particular one. This was actually before my grandfather passed, which he passed in 2009. But I remember one particular, no one could, he was the one that could think of things to say, and we call it, what's the term we like to use? Whinyisms.
Whinyisms?
Yeah, we make up everything. Everything is made up.
Yeah.
This is where I get a lot of what I do.
Of course, you've been trained.
This is where it comes from. It's just, we make up. I remember Anna. It's so funny. I'm sorry, there's so many different stories. But I remember Anna having a conversation with Ashley, my cousin. This was before we got married. And they were actually on the train.
Who is hilarious.
Yeah. Ashley's, oh my gosh.
Killer
Her and
laugh.
Alvin.
Yeah, killer laugh.
Her and Alvin.
Yeah.
You talking about stories and scenarios, and they take a scene and they just go for it.
But you're the same.
Yeah, I know. So this is what happened. So they're on the train and because we get together, we start talking. Oh yeah, that person. Oh, I can't believe that person would do that. Oh yeah, oh that person's crazy. Blah blah blah. So Anna was like, she would be quiet, and she wouldn't know what was happening.
Because she's not like that.
She's not like
She
that.
doesn't know what she's
very
marrying
matter
into.
of fact.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, if you say this, I believe that you're talking about something or someone. So she would realize we're always saying, oh, this person, and oh man, who are you? Oh, that guy is terrible. You know, like, so she's like, who are they talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So she was on the train with Ashley one time, and she said, the conversation between her and Ashley was like, okay, so Ashley, is it just me? Because, you know, I don't know who you guys are speaking about when you're talking about these things. This, you know, like, what's happening? She said, oh no, we're not talking about anyone. You know, it's just us. I mean, she said, okay, so let me get this straight. You're actually just making up scenarios that don't actually exist.
Making up people.
Making up people,
Yeah.
and you're creating things that are just in your mind. Like, none of this is real. And Ashley said, yeah, basically,
Yeah.
that's it.
Doesn't everyone do that?
Clearly, no.
Clearly.
So,
No, it's
my
a
family is
whinyism.
quite weird in that way. But yeah, it comes from the top down. Like, we get these things from
Yeah.
our fathers and our grandfather
And your uncles and your aunties.
oh,
I mean, your family is incredible, but you know, how can we encourage anyone watching this? You know, because family is meant to be an amazing haven, and it's not the reality for a lot of people.
That's true.
And even now
Yeah.
in lockdown, you know, like, how can we encourage everyone
Yeah, I mean,
to nurture and to create moments and memories? How do we
well,
do
it's
that?
funny you say that because it makes me think of the story that I had with my granddad.
Because
You know?
I've seen their family in action. I've seen the extended family in action. They are hilarious. They are.
Yeah, it's
They become something that you just want to sit and watch
Yeah.
watch them interact. It's beautiful. It's not only funny and hilarious, but it really warms your heart, doesn't it? To see the love and the joy and the frivolity and the nonsense
yeah, and the loudness
and the
and
loudness
the intensity
and the intensity and just life, you know.
and sometimes it can come
Enjoying
across,
life.
yeah. And I think when people come in, you might think, oh, that's intimidating, or you know, things like that. But it's actually when you give people the space to be who they are, it does create that environment of safety, you know, and just being safe with one another to where you can be you.
Yeah. But you guys are also really emotionally generous
Yeah.
and and I noticed that a lot amongst the Black Americans. I think there's a real emotional generosity and emotional capacity. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what I've observed, and an ability to be not afraid to show the heart.
Yeah.
Like like there's an emotional generosity there, and not a timidity in really expressing how you all feel. Like I'm just remembering the story. It only happened, I think, was it only last year that it happened that you were in Dromkeen down at Bernadette's house?
Yes, it was.
He was at a prayer meeting.
Yeah.
That's right.
We had a gorgeous little 4-foot-something Indonesian woman, little powerhouse of a woman,
Yeah.
doing a seminar, preparing our guys for our DMS, Discipleship Ministry School.
Yeah.
And out in the middle of in the middle of nowhere in the country,
Yep.
in one of our pastors' homes in her big area that she was using there for you guys. And who walked in? Who walked in the door in the middle of you? Tell the story.
Yeah.
Because this typifies beautiful family. I reckon.
Beautiful,
Yeah. We were praying, you know, of all places, of all days, of all situations, you know, we're praying, and all of a sudden, I just happened to look up and look to the door, and all of a sudden I see this guy, his hat on, you know, clothes that I quickly recognized, and lo and behold, it's my Uncle BD, who has shown up in Drum King and completely unannounced. Like, I had no
That's
idea.
awesome.
His uncle from America.
And of all people, I'm the further, you can't get any further away from home.
Yeah.
And for someone, if it's gonna be someone that finds you, not just further away from home and, you know, as far as where I'm living, like geographically, but where I am in Australia, like the location, the rural location that I was in, he shows up.
He found you.
He found me. I had no idea.
That
So
would be,
when I saw him, I was in, like, my mind was like caught in this warp. Like, I'm in two different places at the same. Like, I want to stop the meeting completely and just run out there.
Praying
But everyone's,
emotional.
we're praying so hard.
Like, it's this intense moment.
Very intense. Like, you know Maria. Like,
she's amazing.
We're praying. We're calling things out. We're getting ready for DMS. We're like, yes, Lord, God. You're gonna do it. Like, our voices are up, and I just happen to look out, and he's standing there, and then he goes back, because I don't think he saw me see him.
Did you realize it was him straight away?
Oh, straight away.
Would have been the weirdest thing. Like, how
That's
does
why
this
my
compute?
mind went like, okay, what is happening right now? Are we praying this hard to where I've
had a
actually
vision.
relocated?
Am I in Australia?
Have I done a Philip? How is this happening? Because I see the people I'm praying with, but I see someone that I know that does not live with the people that I'm praying with.
That's hilarious.
So, and then it just clicked in my mind, like, no, he's here because he would do this.
wow.
He would do this.
Oh, I love that.
And it just blew me away. Like, it showed who he is. You know, he is not out of his character to go that far. And of course, you know, after he came in and we talked and, you know, he was with me, he was just saying how he had been planning it for a year.
You're joking.
Wow. Yeah, because there was a certain cruise that he never took because he hates cruises. He never did it. He would turn it down every single year. So when it came up this year, he was asked again, because he would always tell him, you know, you guys keep asking me this, and I keep telling you no. Like, I don't want to do this. So this particular year, it came up again, and of course they give it time, you know. So it was a year out, and he said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I want to do it because he knew it's gonna dock. It's gonna kick off in Australia, and my nephew lives in Melbourne, and so I'm gonna do it, you know, because I want to see him.
Yeah.
So he called my sister Joy. He called Juan. He called, and no, he didn't even call Joy. He called her husband Terrence.
Yeah.
And told him don't say anything because he didn't even want to give it away.
So Anna didn't know.
Anna didn't know. So what happened was he gave nothing away. He landed in Melbourne. He called Terrence because of all weekends. I happened to be away this weekend. Normally I would have just been at home.
Yeah.
He called Terrence. He got Anna's number because he asked Terrence where I lived. He showed up at our house. No one was there. So then that's when he got Anna's number. He called Anna. He said, look, Anna, don't say anything. I don't know if Carvin's with you, but I'm at the house. Where's Carvin? And Anna said, you're at our house? She said, yes, I'm at the house, but I don't have time to go into it. I'm just trying to find him. Where is he? And she just said, well, of all weekends, he's actually on the other side of town. Like, you're gonna have to travel past the airport and go to the opposite side.
Yeah.
Because he's in the West. So, and that's what he did. You know, he got an Uber. The Uber man, by the time he got to me and we were finished, the Uber man, they became friends. You know, because he is that kind of
Yeah, it's awesome.
guy. He's that kind of person, and it just shows a reflection of, family, and
It's awesome. It's amazing.
They all could be like that.
Just you telling that story, I just suddenly remembered. Must run in your family, but I love that going the extra mile and just loving people, and I think that's something that right now we can really do well to learn how to do on any level, especially when it comes to church life and just being family and being real with one another. Like you were just saying before, someone in our church just Ubered you some snacks yesterday, and just out of the blue.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love that,
Yeah.
But I remember also when our daughter was having a really heartbreaking time in New York, Ebony, and and you know what your Aunt Cece did? She got on a plane at 7 in the morning. She did exactly what I just remember that.
She didn't know where to go, but she
didn't know where to go. She prayed and said, all right, Lord, I'm flying in. I need to go and encourage this girl. She flew in, and we've now seen New York. It's huge. And she didn't know where she was. I didn't know where Ebony, I knew vaguely, but I didn't really know what Cece was up to. And she got on that plane, she flew in, got a taxi, and just said to the guy, said, where are you going? She said, I don't know, just drive. And she prayed, and she knew she had to get back to the airport by a certain time to get back that night. And then she said, okay, go down this street. I think what New York's like. Yeah. And as she's driving down the street, there was Ebony standing outside of the restaurant that she was working in, having a coffee break.
Yeah, but before that, she was praying, she was impressed. She said, God, if you're there.
Ebony? Yeah.
She was praying, if you're there, I just want to know, I don't know, I just need to meet people.
She was missing us, she was missing her family, she was really, really
she was praying, Cece walked out of the car.
Cece got out, she would have felt the same as you, but that's kind of family. That's the love of God in action.
That's what it is.
That blew her away. And can you imagine what it did to Cece? To actually find Ebony like a needle in a haystack, as they say. But that's heart, that's love, that's sacrificial love, and it's trusting in God. And I don't know, I love these kind of stories, and it just makes me think, just talking like this, we didn't plan on what we were going to talk about.
No, we didn't at all.
We never do. But just talking about the power of family, especially us as Christians and as part of a church community, even just with our neighbours and our friends, this is how we should be living life. Yeah. Just going the extra mile for people.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so. I think it eliminates self-preservation,
Yeah.
It really deals with selflessness. Yeah. Because that's what the church is meant to be. It's meant to be family. I think that's how Paul does an incredible, the way he writes the epistles, the way the New Testament, even the Bible itself, it shows a perfect picture of imperfect people.
Yeah.
And allows space for everyone to be loved, to be cared for, to be nurtured, but to grow and understanding our identity as a part of one family.
Yeah.
Just one family, There's no confusion in that.
There is no confusion.
There's no judgment in that.
And there's just freedom to love.
Insecurity in it. Yeah, it's so much freedom, and it's almost like where we are now, when the church has to wake up and actually get back to that place of what we're all meant to be.
Yeah, it's not a bunch of rules. It's not about a formula.
It's no competition.
It's not about I have to do this. I'm part of this structure in our church. I have to do this. No, you know what? People are sick of all that. Seriously, sorry everyone, but that's the reality, isn't it? Yeah. No one wants that. We just want normal. We want normal living. Yeah. We want heart. Yeah. Authenticity. Yeah. It's not about I'll do this because my pastors or my leaders have asked me to. Yeah. No, guys, we're known when we really love one another. And sometimes people who don't belong to church communities are actually better at doing that. Because there's no trading. No. There's no sense of trade-off. And I think sometimes people, when they come to God and they come to church, and after a while they sort of forget just how to be normal human beings.
It's become so religious.
Yeah.
Such a, position, rank type of thing.
Yeah.
We even see churches, if I can climb the ladder of rank in the church, then I'll be seen as someone who, has some type of notoriety even within a small organization, because that's how we think of it. And it's just sad. It's just like, this is not about achievements. This is about a journey with each other.
But don't you get the feeling that God is changing all that?
Yeah.
Hey guys, look, I know, we've kind of cut it a little bit, cut it short, but we want you to come back, tune in to the conclusion as you hear the next part of just what it feels like in being family, and some of the things that we just like to do and that we know you like to do, and that it is okay. So I'm glad you tuned in. Come back next week. We have more to share. All right, see ya. Bye.